Imagine you're watching the World Cup final. The stadium is roaring, the players are sprinting, the ball is flying across the screen. Then you notice something strange. Your dog is staring at the TV, not for a second, not by accident, actually watching. Some dogs even bark at the screen. Some chase the ball. Some seem completely obsessed with certain sports. But here's the mystery. Do dogs actually enjoy soccer? Or are they seeing something completely different from what you see? Because the answer reveals something fascinating about how your dog's mind works. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what your dog sees when it watches television.
Did you know that was going to happen? How did you know?
Dogs don't see the game. Let's start with the biggest misconception. Your dog is not watching soccer the way you are. It doesn't understand teams. It doesn't understand scores. It doesn't know who Messi is. It certainly doesn't understand offside rules. When humans watch soccer, we follow a story. We understand competition. We predict outcomes. We recognize strategy. Dogs don't. Instead, dogs process something much simpler. Movement, speed, direction changes, body language. Their brains evolved to notice moving objects. Thousands of years ago, this helped them hunt prey. Today, that same instinct responds to a soccer ball flying across a television screen. To your dog, the ball is often the most interesting thing happening. Not because it's soccer, because it's moving, fast, unpredictably. Exactly the kind of movement that naturally captures canine attention. This is why some dogs ignore movies but suddenly become interested in sports. The movement pattern is more exciting, more natural, more relevant to how dogs evolved. Why some dogs love sports more than others. Here's something many owners notice. Not all dogs react the same way. Some stare at the television. Others couldn't care less. Why? Breed plays a major role. Dogs bred for herding often become fascinated by movement. Dogs bred for retrieving may become interested in objects being chased. Dogs bred for working alongside humans often pay closer attention to human activity. Think about border collies. Their entire history revolves around monitoring movement, watching, tracking, predicting direction. A soccer match is full of exactly those patterns. Meanwhile, some breeds are less visually focused. They rely more on smell, more on hearing, which means television may simply be less interesting. Just like humans enjoy different hobbies, dogs also have different preferences. The television itself isn't creating the interest. It's activating instincts that already exist. The ball is the real star. Let's talk about the ball, because from your dog's perspective, it may be the most important thing on the entire field. Think about how a soccer ball moves. It accelerates suddenly, stops unexpectedly, changes direction without warning, disappears behind players, then instantly reappears somewhere else. To humans, that's simply part of the game. But to a dog, those movement patterns are extremely interesting. Why? Because throughout canine evolution, movement often meant opportunity. A moving object could be prey. It could be something worth chasing, something worth investigating. Scientists studying canine vision have found that dogs are particularly sensitive to motion. In many situations, dogs notice movement faster than humans do. Their eyes evolved for exactly that purpose. This helps explain why some dogs suddenly become alert when the camera zooms in on the ball, or why some dogs run from one side of the television to the other. Some even look behind the television trying to locate where the ball went. They're not confused by soccer. They're responding to movement. The same instinct that once helped wild canines survive is now being triggered by pixels on a screen. And here's something interesting. Many dogs pay attention only when the ball is moving. The moment play stops, they lose interest. That tells us something important. For many dogs, the game itself isn't exciting. The movement is. And that movement may be the closest thing television has to activating an ancient canine instinct. Your dog may actually be watching you. Now comes the biggest surprise in this entire video. What if your dog isn't watching soccer at all? What if it's watching you? Think about what happens during an important match. Your favorite team gets close to scoring. You lean forward, your heart rate increases, you become more focused. Then the goal happens. You jump out of your seat, you shout, you clap, you celebrate. And throughout that entire sequence, your dog is paying attention. Dogs constantly monitor human emotions. In fact, one of the reasons dogs became such successful companions is their incredible ability to read people. They notice facial expressions, changes in posture, changes in voice, changes in energy. When you're calm, they know. When you're nervous, they know. When you're excited, they know that too. So imagine what your dog experiences during a dramatic soccer match. The television becomes less important. You become the main event. Your excitement creates excitement. Your tension creates tension. Your celebration creates celebration. This is why many dogs appear interested in sports only when their owners are watching. Leave the same match playing in an empty room, and many dogs completely ignore it. The truth is fascinating. Your dog may not care who wins. It may not care about the score, but it absolutely cares about you. And sometimes what looks like a dog watching soccer is really a dog studying the emotions of its favorite human. The technology secret. Before we finish, there's one final piece of the puzzle. The television itself. Years ago, many dogs showed little interest in TV. Owners often assumed dogs simply couldn't understand what they were seeing. But modern technology changed everything. Older televisions refreshed images much more slowly. To humans, the picture looked smooth. To dogs, it often looked like a flickering series of images. Modern high-definition televisions are different. The motion appears smoother, more realistic, much easier for dogs to track, which means today's dogs can follow movement on screens far better than dogs could 20 or 30 years ago. And that brings us to a simple experiment. If you want to know whether your dog actually watches television, try this. Turn on a soccer match. Watch your dog's eyes, not its head, its eyes. Do they follow the ball? Do they track players moving across the field? Now mute the sound. Does the interest remain? If yes, movement is probably the main trigger. Next, hide the screen while leaving the sound on. Does your dog still react? If it does, sound may be attracting its attention more than the visuals. This simple test can reveal whether your dog is responding to motion, sound, or even your own behavior. And the answer may surprise you. Because after everything we've discussed today, one thing becomes clear. Dogs don't watch soccer the way humans do, but sometimes they enjoy it for reasons that are even more interesting. The simple test that reveals the truth. So after everything we've discussed, how can you tell whether your dog is actually interested in soccer? Fortunately, there's a simple way to find out. The next time a match is on television, don't watch the screen. Watch your dog. Pay attention to its eyes. Do they follow the ball as it moves across the field? Do they track players running from one side of the screen to the other? Does your dog suddenly become more alert when the action speeds up? If so, movement is probably what attracts its attention. Now try muting the television. If your dog continues watching, visual motion is likely the main reason. But if interest disappears immediately, sound may have been doing most of the work. Then try one final experiment. Leave the match playing while you leave the room. What happens? Many owners discover something surprising. Their dog loses interest within minutes. The dog wasn't watching the game, it was watching the person watching the game. And that may be the most fascinating discovery of all. Because dogs evolved alongside humans for thousands of years. Understanding people became one of their greatest survival skills. They learn to read our faces, our voices, our emotions, our routines. So when your dog appears fascinated by soccer, part of what you're seeing may be an ancient social bond in action. The television captures its attention. The movement keeps it interested. But you may still be the most important thing in the room. And perhaps that's the real answer. Dogs don't experience soccer the way we do. Yet somehow, they still find a reason to share the experience with us.
Who's a good boy?
So, do dogs really like watching soccer? Sometimes yes, but probably not because they understand the game. They aren't analyzing tactics, they aren't choosing favorite teams, and they definitely aren't arguing about referees. Instead, they're responding to movement, sound, instinct, and perhaps most importantly, the emotions of the people they love. Which means that when your dog sits beside you during a big match, something special may be happening. You aren't just watching soccer together. You're sharing an experience, and that connection may be far more meaningful than the game itself. Now we're curious. Does your dog watch sports? Does it chase the ball on screen? Or does it seem more interested in your reactions than the match? Let us know in the comments below. And if you learned something new about the incredible way dogs see the world, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for the next journey into dog psychology.